Welcome to another episode of the Lobang Reviews.
Oh yeah, another week, a new episode.
Yes.
Once again, I'm thinking of a new sound intro, like for the news one. This one was like,
What
Like
about
just-
ding 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 ding?
no, like
ding,
just
ding.
just a sound.
Hey, no, what about the ice cream trucks that you hear as a kid underneath your block?
Oh.
Ding 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 ding.
No,
ding,
that could freak people out. No, that's for.
But
that's
was it
for
a truck
Salman.
though? Was it a truck or was it like the motorcycle? You know the.
Oh no! Oh, I was mixing up the Milo truck and the ice cream cart.
But Milo trucks never had some. They never had like music or some shit like that, right?
They had the horn lah, like, pop, 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 pop. Yeah, at the primary school, I think it run down. Like, oh, free Milo, free Milo.
Free Milo,
Yeah.
Milo and ice
That's
cream.
how they
Ice
market
cream.
Milo back in the day, I think.
Yeah, Milo truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's synonymous with it. Oh, Milo truck go on every sports festival. Always gone.
Yes.
But you'll never ever.
True.
I mean, if you're slow to it, you'll never get a cup. Unless
Yeah,
you got like
you gotta run.
lobang.
No,
Unless you got lobangs there, then
because
yeah,
it was the
come.
best tasting Milo. Fuck.
Yes, the best tasting.
And the
Milo.
fuckers used to do this. They used to like shutter up one side.
Yeah.
And then they'll close the other one.
Uh-huh.
And then once this side is done,
They'll
then they'll
move
open
to the other side,
they'll
right?
Move to the
Yeah.
other side.
Yeah.
Yes.
But fucking hell.
You know what? Wherever you hear like the Milo truck or the ice cream cart come, and then
Yeah.
the sound, whether it's a horn or a ring bell, you got to run.
You gotta run.
Yeah, and you know what else you have to run? When
it's a
you're
pedophile.
when you're stuck in the cabin in the woods.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay, that was alright.
It's alright.
That's alright.
That segue was acceptable.
I was actually
It
trying
was
to
okay.
warn-
Like, it's a 5 out of 10, I would say.
Yeah, it's a 5.
Yeah, it was 5 out of
But
10.
yes, for this week's Lobang review.
Yeah, we are continuing the theme of horror.
Horror nights.
But this
theme
one's a
gets-
horror comedy, so it's a
Yeah.
horror-medy.
Let's go a little bit
Or a-
light-hearted. Right?
Yeah.
horror.
Last
Yeah.
week we did The Exorcist.
Yeah,
and,
this
Last week was scary as shit.
Scary
This
as
one is
shit.
scary and also a bit funny.
and we went into magicians last week.
Yeah, we went to magicians. But as with last week, we're doing it the reverse way. We're giving
Yeah.
our ratings first,
Yeah.
and then we'll get to
There's
the
no
review.
reverse way. There's only the lowang way.
The Lobang way.
Yeah.
Yes, our way.
It's just a lobang way.
Our
Yes,
way.
our way.
So I'll go first this time around.
Yeah,
Okay,
because you're,
right.
you're the newly minted. You just watched
I
it.
just watched it. So I would say I'll give it a hard on.
Hard on.
So
Okay,
it's-
3 out of
Yeah,
5.
3 out of 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. For me, I'll give a 4 out of 5. Raging
Oh.
bone of a bit of cum. Because
Oh.
it's pretty funny, and the way that Thor
Yeah.
dies, spoiler alert, if no one has seen it, go watch it. It's pretty hilarious. Yeah.
I can't actually.
Where he tries
forgot.
to be the hero on the bike, and then
Yes.
he
Oh yeah,
rides
okay,
off
okay.
the ramp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anticlimactic.
He
Ah, yeah, yeah,
slams
yeah,
into
yeah,
the
yeah,
fourth
yeah,
wheel
yeah,
and he drops.
yeah, yeah. Mine
That
would
was
have-
hilarious.
Mine would have to be in between the both of you, so it's getting there. So it's a raging hard, but
Uh-huh.
no come. But nothing comes.
Ah.
Nothing comes out at the end. Nothing.
Raging hard on, but nothing comes out.
Yeah, it's 3.5.
So it's beyond a hard on.
Yeah, it's beyond hard on.
But
Yeah.
no
just-
no pre-cum.
You just need someone to
No
pump
no
it a bit.
drippage.
You just need someone to pump it a bit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a whack.
What about Thor? If
You
Thor
need-
pumps
you
it
need
a bit,
fireman pump.
Thor has the grip strength to hold
Yeah.
Mjolnir and just a tiny pinch, your penis is gone.
right,
It's
right.
gone.
Yeah, so the premise of the movie is that there's a lab that is actually running like some fucked up
The ritual. No, it's a
Ritual thing.
ritual that goes
Yeah,
on
yeah.
to prevent the end of the world.
end of the world according to these fucks, these
Yeah,
nerds,
these guys.
these
Yeah.
fucking nerds.
No,
Yeah.
the whole thing is actually it takes all the old horror movie tropes.
Yes.
Like the jock and all the thing, all the things that happen,
Yep.
all the
Yep.
uncanny. Oh, this must happen. And they have to act like that.
The dumb blonde.
Yeah,
dumb
the dumb
blonde, the
blonde,
splitting
the,
up, and
the athlete, the,
the athlete.
the jock,
and then the fool.
the scholar, the fool.
Yeah. So
And
they took
then
all
the
that
virgin.
and they played
Yes.
around with it.
Yeah, and also in terms of the characters in the horror films,
Yeah.
like you see all of them in Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
Like zombies, ghosts, vampires.
Correct,
you
yeah.
know, so
That
on and
for
so
me
forth.
was the part that captured my attention the most.
Yeah.
Because I like this one scene where they pan out and it's all these cubes.
Yeah.
So it's a throwback to all the horror movies that you ever watched. There was those pink guys from
Hellraiser.
Pinhead. Yeah,
Hellraiser, yeah.
Hellraiser,
Hellraiser.
yeah.
There were zombies.
There was the creature from Silent Hill as well.
And then
Yeah.
there's I don't know whether it's Dead Space or is that those like winged creatures. Many giant snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clowns, killer clowns.
Yeah.
the ghosts.
So in a sense, it's quite meta.
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it came out like in 2011, right?
Mm.
2011, 2012, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2011,
Yeah, I
2012.
like how they spin the whole thing, but I didn't score it higher because it's
Yeah. So the
It's
whole story
just-
starts with this group of high school friends, right? Were they
Yeah.
high school friends?
College
kids, right?
College kids, yeah.
Yeah. Who decide during like spring break or something or some vacation.
To go to it's
cousin's
Chris
cabin.
Hemsworth. So it's the
His cousin's
Kurt.
cabin. Yeah.
His name is Kurt, right? The character.
Kurt.
His cousin's cabin. So on the way, like they meet people, and then those people are also part of the
Yeah.
fucking
The
thing.
gas station guy.
Yes.
Who's been made fun of.
Yeah.
by the people in
Yeah.
the lab.
The funny thing is that these people, they've been scouted out, and another part for me that okay, let's go to my favorite part. My favorite part is when they reveal
Mm-hmm.
that this is happening all over the world. There are these little groups
yeah,
all
yeah,
over the
yeah.
world because they all have to carry out the same ritual,
Yeah.
and only one of them has to succeed to placate.
Yeah,
the
because it fails at
old
multiple
ones.
locations,
Yeah.
right?
Failed
Yeah.
at one-
And in order for them to succeed, everyone in the group has to die, right?
in an order.
In an order. Yeah.
So the virgin,
Right.
the girl has to die last.
the
doesn't-
whore has to die first,
Yes.
and then the virgin has to die last.
And she
Virgin or
doesn't-
the fool?
She doesn't have to die. The fool dies
The
before
virgin
the virgin.
can survive.
The virgin can survive, but
survive,
she
yeah.
has to be the last.
Yes.
The last
Right,
in the
right,
line.
right.
And how they go about it was interesting.
Mm.
Choosing it, then they had a bet that who gets killed by what.
Yeah, in the lab, right? They were betting,
lab,
right?
yes.
Yeah. That was
So
hilarious.
the selection of the way they die was also interesting. They have all these like trinkets at the bottom of the cabin.
Mm.
They go inside and then they choose the things, and you see all. I mean, if you're a horror movie buff, you should watch it. So you just have those little that
Yeah.
happened in
The
like,
aha moments.
yeah, it's like if
Yeah.
you're a
Mm.
fan of Hellraiser, it's like, hey, that was in that one, and then if you're a fan of whatnot, it's like, that's one. So
Yeah.
it fell down to the virgin, the so-called, who's not really a virgin as well,
Yeah.
because she was sleeping with her professor for like.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's a review. Yeah.
And then the professor like somewhat ditched her.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
why
someone
she
that
actually joined them.
Yeah,
So she's a whore.
No.
She just had to fall.
The other
into
one was a whore.
Yeah,
Right.
Made into the funniest thing is that later on it's revealed that none of them are actually in those categories. They were made into those categories. Like
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth's character is actually very smart,
Mm,
but they drugged him and made him
Mm.
more. They increased his libido
Libido, yeah.
and made them
Yep.
more. And even the whore wasn't really a whore. It's just like more or less. She doesn't usually act that way, as pointed out by the fool.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's very funny how they twisted that the fool is the one that becomes the so-called savior because he's always high,
Yeah.
so high that he's immune to their
Everything's slowed down,
the,
yeah.
to the drugs, right?
Yeah.
to the
Did
drugs.
Did they
that
release
were
some
pumping.
kind of
Yeah,
gas?
some
Some gas,
right?
something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
bec-
sorry we're spoiling the entire show for you, but
Yeah,
the review
because
was-
like I remember like one of the first few scenes after like once they introduce like the 5 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he enters the room and it's like, why are you reading this?
Yeah.
And then he actually advises the girl like, no, you don't read this book, you read
Yeah.
another book.
to display that he's actually
He's actually quite smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I found that overall the whole thing was quite clever. The way they tried
It
to
was.
They
It was.
tried to
Yeah.
throw the whole thing, and I enjoyed it. One
There's another layer to the whole aspect of the people in the lab kind of shoehorning the different characters to
Yeah,
form
yeah.
a certain path. It's like horror writers or horror directors trying to craft their characters in such a way that it has already been done before.
Yeah.
You know, so you get that like double layer meaning in the film, which is pretty interesting actually.
yeah.
Like you follow like if you are a horror fan, you
Yeah.
would see like certain parts. You're like,
Like-
okay. they
Like
did
like
it
a
for-
set of orders that is about to happen.
Yes.
You know, and
Yeah.
you
It
kind of
already
tell.
minus 1 star for me because of the fact that it was horror. Horror.
Ah.
Right.
I'm
But
not
it was
really-
not
I'm
really horror though.
I'm not really a horror buff, but
Yeah.
I
Mm.
got some of the I saw some of the things. I just found the whole thing very interesting. The idea of
Mm.
the show very interesting, and how they played on the tropes.
Do you see when they reveal that other countries have their own version?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And then they
that-
cut to
that's what-
Japan, and
yeah,
then it's the ring.
Yeah.
The girl from the ring. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, okay, that's pretty.
And Japan,
That's
how
pretty cool.
and how they were like always not say bragging, but always saying like Japan always has 100% rate. So we're just the second we don't have to worry about Japan, and then later on it becomes.
No,
that
and they were
they-
all like happy that they actually beat Japan.
No,
Yeah,
At
in a
first,
sense.
Then the fucking fool survived.
Yeah, and then
Then
like,
it's
oh shit,
Yeah.
you're losing.
But they were actually not so thrilled with the fact
Yeah.
that Japan failed was actually quite a blow. It's like, what? By a bunch of children singing childhood songs. Jesus, Japan, Jesus.
Yeah, so if everyone fails, that means the
The world might
ends.
end.
the
Yeah.
world end, right? There's
And-
this like mythical
Yeah,
creature lying beneath the
And
earth.
that was
surface.
actually pretty cool. So how they brought the whole thing now. Actually, we were thinking like, why would people be so like cruel? Why would they want to do this? What was the point? Oh, it's because the old ones requires this ritual to be carried out in order to be satisfied. And
to
if you
satisfy the
don't
gods,
satisfy that,
basically.
they come
Yeah.
back out. Yeah.
And at one point, right, I was actually thinking like, or maybe overthinking, that when the lab got destroyed,
Yeah.
I thought that, oh shit, I think this whole thing might actually be a myth
Mm-hmm.
and nothing's gonna happen. And then when the hand comes out,
Oh yeah, right at the end of the film.
right, and then I was like, oh,
It's like fuck.
okay.
Yeah. I while watching through while watching the film, I actually thought that it might be a sequel. There might be a sequel, or it might
I
turn
think-
into a trilogy.
Okay.
But then at the end of the film, when the hand comes out,
There's,
okay, yeah,
no,
that's
sorry,
it.
Can't do it. But I found overall the show was, it was not say clever lah. I found it just interesting. The
Yeah.
whole concept of it. I didn't rate it higher because I'm not really a horror movie buff. But the idea, like if they did it with other things, and you know how if you're like so into one genre, and then when people do throwbacks or shout outs to that thing, and then you're like excited. So I didn't get most of those things, so I couldn't get fully excited. Like, if they do something, I think there was a Necronomicon inside also, which was a shout out to the Evil Dead, Ash versus the Evil Dead,
yeah.
and that was also quite cool. Now,
Right.
So kudos to them. I enjoyed Cabin in the Woods. You should watch it if you haven't watched it yet.
It was not a bad film at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the
coming
whole
from
meta
James Bond.
aspect of it was quite interesting, but the acting sucked balls. Like,
I think
yeah.
that's one.
Like,
that's-
but I think that's actually
What they're going for,
what
actually.
they were going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was so bad.
it was B
Yeah.
grade.
It was literally.
It's very cliche, right?
Yeah, it was
The
damn
dialogue
fucking
and everything, and it's like,
everything was fucking cliche. And
But I think it's done.
Jesse Williams, that fucking snake.
But I think it's done tongue in cheek though.
Yeah.
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 I do give them props for hiring really, really cute actresses though.
Were there any tits in the film? No, right? There's no nudity, right?
No,
no.
no, there were just teasers.
Yeah,
like,
Teasers lah.
but there was a little bit of bestiality when she kissed the wolf's.
But that was
wolf's head.
a taxidermy, like
Yeah. It was a dead wolf's head.
dead and
Yeah.
cleaned out everything.
Scare
was-
factor wise, I think it did score a bit more for the goriness. I wouldn't say that it was really very scary. There was never
Yeah.
a moment there where I did the whole cover my eyes and not look one. So it's like it's more like gory and
Yeah.
the jump scare kind of thing.
More blood and gore, lah.
More blood and gore, not
Especially
the kind
when
of
the zombies like appeared right outside the cabin, and then they were.
yeah. So it's more blood and gore. None of that ring and grudge kind of like what the fuck I can't sleep or it
Right.
kind of like I'll
You
never
can't
look
sleep
at-
after watching it.
When I was young, it traumatized me. I
Oh,
told
the
you,
old one,
I couldn't
right,
look at like drains the same way and everything.
It is pretty good.
Yeah.
Sidetrack. Yeah. They
But
did it.
but
Not
to
the
be,
sequel, but
to
the
be
first
fair
one.
to them, I was an easy person to scare. I read like normal, what's the Singapore one? Singapore True Stories.
Singapore horror stories.
The Russell Lee ones.
True Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
I
shit!
read
That's from, like,
those.
secondary school.
Those throwback, man.
Yeah.
I read those and those scared me a bit. There was one image. I don't know whether it was from there, but there's another one where there's a shadow.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just a shadow, just a freaking shadow with two eyes. Bam! Being scared of the dark, that's where it came from.
What in
That's-
Cabin in the Woods or
No, it's
No,
not
from
In the
Cabin,
book.
from the
from
book.
the book.
for the novel?
Cabin
Okay.
in the Woods, I think the scariest part was probably... there wasn't really a like, oh shit, I can't watch
When
that.
Thor dies, and then you're
No.
like, no.
He's
supposed to be the hero.
Yeah, that was one of the things. But the other way, how did the other guy die? He got
I think
impaled, right?
one of them died from zombies, right? Was
Zombies,
torn,
yeah.
torn apart by zombies
Yeah.
outside the cabin.
Some of the ways were comical. So there's one where the zombie hand was the only thing that was there, and then it was slowly creeping towards killing the guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like homage to like some older films lah.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
Army of Darkness and all
Mm.
those kind of shit.
But
lah.
the chaos that ensued after they pressed the button that released all the
Mm.
monsters, that was epic. That was quite good.
Yeah.
the fool broke into the lab, right, or something.
Yeah,
He
no,
found
the
her.
two of them. The two of them
the two
broke
of them.
inside.
Yeah.
He saved the virgin, and then they both like, bam. And
Then release all the monsters.
monsters came out, and
and
you
that's
like-
where it fucking went berserk.
Yeah, you get to see all the different ways. All I mean, some of it's like, oh, but the funniest part was the unicorn.
Mm.
Oh,
Unicorn,
yes.
yeah, unicorn.
Yeah.
It came out.
Didn't he impaled someone with his
Yeah.
horn? Yeah.
It's like that's not even a creature you would assume.
Yeah, you
would
thought
relate to.
unicorns are,
Yeah.
are mythical, magical
Nah,
creatures.
it's a
that are,
stabby. It's
they
a
are
stabby.
gentle.
It's a murder horse.
yeah, but it
That's a
just runs
murder
at someone with
horse.
his horn.
Yeah, but like while I was watching that film, and I started watching the film like last night at about 11:40,
Right.
and I was like, "Where's the scary bit?" I think I've been desensitized to anything scary because the last time I was like fucking scared
Yeah.
was when I watched this Indian film.
Huh?
And this was like I was primary 1, so it was like 97
Wow, you
Right.
were, the last
No,
time you were scared
95,
was when
95.
you were 95. Wow.
in 1995. Yeah.
What film is this?
The actual title is called Amaru, which in Telugu, it's a Telugu film. And in Tamil, where they dubbed it over, it was just simply Amman. Amman, it just says goddess.
Okay.
Yeah. So the opening sequence of the film shows a village in India where they have been hit by some mysterious illness, like waterborne illness or airborne illness, and people are dying. So they pray to the village goddess, and they have like a mini festival kind of thing where they are cooking food to appease the goddess, asking her for her guidance or help. And the goddess actually comes in person, but just wearing like a sari, like an old lady,
Right.
comes into the village and asks for food, and only one lady gives her the food, saying that I've not actually put it up as offering yet, so you can have this. And the goddess sits in the village at midnight, fucking grinding like herbal leaves, neem leaves, and then brings it over to that lady's house. And it's like, I need to make herbal medicine in your house. Can you give me space? And then the lady is like, you are grinding up the leaf at like midnight. Like, what the hell is going on? Like,
Yeah.
no one is out here. The whole village is like fucked. It's like, don't worry. With this, the problems of this village will disappear. And the goddess instructs the lady, can you go to every house and splash this herbal water at every house? And once you're done, go to the well that is at the edge of the village, throw the pot down, and walk back without turning back. So she was like, okay, but you have to stay in my house till I return.
Stay in the goddess house.
No, the goddess has to stay in the house
Oh,
and
right.
look after her house.
Right.
So, like, this is like within the first 5 minutes of the film.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Okay? And she's like, okay, then she's like, promise me, you don't leave. I'm leaving my home to you. I'm living here alone.
So
Then
we
she's-
got a special double review today.
Yeah. No, this is just like a small snippet, right? So
maybe next week.
So the goddess like promises, like swears on her that I won't leave till you come back. Then she reminds her, you cannot turn back. You cannot come back without doing this. You cannot turn back. And then she's like, okay, don't worry. So as she's doing it, right, she's splashing the water. She's like, oh, this old lady is in my house. I don't know if she actually ate her dinner or supper. Let me go back and remind her, or just tell her that there's food. So she makes a U-turn and she actually comes back without completing the thing.
Yeah.
And as she goes past the window in her house, she looks in and she gets a fucking shock of her life, where the goddess is in a Kali form, sitting down there in an angry manner. I was like, what the fuck?
Wow.
As a child, I saw that I could not fucking sleep. And it was not like a spirit or something like that. It was like the goddess in the most angriest form.
Right.
And the person who acted, the actress,
Yeah.
she has gone on to act in so many other fucking roles, and she was a brilliant actress.
Right.
Fucking acted in one of my favorite Tamil films ever, which is like full-on comedy, and she's a whore in that film.
Right.
But in this film,
She plays Kali.
Yeah, she's a goddess.
Right.
And holy shit, this like 95. The film came out in 95, and they hired like Hollywood CGI
Yeah.
people to do it. So it was. I still feel in like Tamil or Indian films, the CGI quality in this film has not been topped.
Right.
When it comes to like a supernatural film.
Okay.
It's fucking good.
We should do
And
that.
all this happens within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. So she sees that, right?
Okay.
And at first she gets shocked.
Yeah.
Like what? It's like shit. The goddess came down like really to like solve the problem of this village. So she remembers that she swear on my head that I won't leave till you come back. So she actually commits suicide. She jumps into the well. So that the goddess will never leave her house.
Wow.
Will never leave the village.
But why though?
So that the goddess can help the entire village.
Oh shit.
So she sacrificed herself
Right.
for the betterment.
Wait,
of
is that the end of the film?
No, that's the beginning of the film. That's like within 10 minutes of the film.
Okay, now I have to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for next
But
week,
I don't how to find the film though.
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
so for next week,
Yeah.
we're reviewing that. We're reviewing that one because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
horror.
Let's do that.
It's technically not horror, it's supernatural.
It's supernatural. It fits.
Yeah.
It's
So after this,
Oh, it's
like
gonna
the
end.
protagonist and antagonist is a guy who's practicing black magic.
Okay.
And
he's both the pro and
so the guy, he wants to gain certain powers.
Yeah.
Like the black magic that he's practicing, like he believes that the spirit that he's controlling or the spirit that he's getting his powers from
Yeah.
has been tempting him, saying that I can give you powers that can change sand to gold,
Sounds like Jesus.
bricks to currency,
Water to wine.
like water to all this kind of shit lah.
Yeah.
Like I can you can make gold, alchemy and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
But whenever he does something, he sacrifices something, the spirit just shows him an illusion of it and then changes it back. And then will tell him like, oh, I need a human sacrifice. I need a young virgin girl. All this kind of shit buried alive. Yeah. And from there, like that guy eventually.
There's a lot of learning stories, learning points to this though. Like how you chase wealth and then you end up sacrificing, parts of yourself or
if we
other
go any
people.
more deep into it, we'll be really doing a double review.
So
on that note,
on that note,
this Lobang review is over. Watch it if you can. If you have watched it, let us know if we've done it.
I'll be surprised. I'll be interested to know whether the mayor of Geylang has watched this film. Or has heard of this film.
Mayor of Geylang, please let us know.
That one's not for the Cabin in the Woods, but the Amaru.
Amaru, yeah.
Amaru.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for Cabin in the Woods, well, recap of our overall ratings.
Yeah, 3.
3.5 and 4. So it's more or less
Raging boner have a bit of cum.
Bit of cum and his raging boner with
my
no
fingers
cum.
are sticky from the cum.
So gotta wash sticky as well.
Gotta wash my hands.
This is more like 3.75. It's halfway up there.
Yeah.
It's about to come out.
Yeah, it's about to come out. Not bad. Not a bad effort.
It's not a bad effort. And then for next week, we'll be reviewing Amaru.
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 All right.
So you get to see.
Yes.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.